Hi students, my name is Sneha Arora and welcome to the new learning session with me and I will be learning buddy for you in today's class. So let me first tell you what's the topic all about. So today's topic is all about cells. Your class 8th and class 9th has this chapter in it. So we are going to study this today. Okay, before we start into cells, let's first understand what cell is. What is a cell? Cell is the smallest unit of all living organisms. When we say living organisms, that means जो organisms living होते हैं, which means सारे जहां पे कहीं ना कहीं बॉडी में कोई रिएक्शन हो रहा है, कोई metabolic action हो रहा है. We are talking about those organisms. So cell is the smallest unit. Like we know, houses are made up of bricks. All the living organisms are made up of the smallest unit cell. We join one cell plus second cell, third cell, fourth cell, and that makes up the complete living organism. When we talk about cells, हमारे mind में दो examples आते हैं. What are the two those examples? One is the plant cell and second is the animal cell. But इसके अलावा भी if we get into five kingdom classification तो हमें पता चलता है कि we can divide the living organisms based on these five kingdoms. जहाँ पे अभी हमें नहीं जाना है, of course we need to study cells. तो एक beautiful सी PPT के साथ पढ़ना start करते हैं. So let's get into it. Let me share screen to you and we'll study cells today. So yes, cell structure and function. Let's begin with it. So, cell structure and function. Cell theory. Cell theory means what is actually cell based upon. हम किस तरीके से उसको पढ़ सकते हैं. So, all living things are made up of cells. Cells are the smallest working units of all living things. And all cells come from the pre-existing cells through the cell division. Means हर एक सेल का कोई एक पेरेंट सेल होगा, कोई एक मदर सेल होगी जिससे वो डॉटर सेल आया होगा. That means every cell has its some parent from which it has come. It's not like that the cell has just came into the universe and now the another will come, now the third will come. No, every cell has a parent cell. The cell is the smallest unit and all cells, all living organisms are made up of cells. Now, what is the definition? As I've already told you, cell is kya hai? Is the smallest unit that is capable of performing life functions. For us, cell join हो रहा है, टिश्यू बना रहा है, टिश्यू join हो रहा है, organ बना रहा है, organ join हो रहे हैं, organism बना रहा है. So everyone is getting joined up together to make something and cell, each and every cell of every different organ or every different tissue is performing a different function. So for us, the cell is very important as every cell is capable of performing certain functions and our body is based on different functions with which we are able to move, eat, excrete, breathe, enjoy our lives. That's it. Now, examples of cells. There are different examples. That is amoeba proteus, plant stem, bacteria, nerve cell, and red blood cells. Red blood cells, these are biconcave cells जो कि हमारे blood में होते हैं. हमारे blood में तीन तरीके की cells हमें दिखते हैं. We have three kinds of cells in our blood. Then we have the nerve cells, bacteria, and all of them. So these are certain examples of the cells. Now there are basis of classification how there are two types of cells. One is prokaryotic cell and another is eukaryotic. This classification is very important. Prokaryotic means do not have structure surrounded by membranes. Means if I am talking about certain cell organelle, the structure within the cell is the cell organelle. That organelle does not have any membrane. Like I talk about mitochondria, which is the energy house of the cell, it has membrane. But when I talk about a prokaryotic cell, the organelles or the things inside the cell do not have any membrane bound structures. There are few internal structures. Their nucleus is also not well defined. Okay, one-celled organism, bacteria. We move next. Then we have eukaryotic. Contain organelles surrounded by membranes. Now, what kind of organelles will it have? It will obviously have a good nucleus with a good nuclear membrane. It will have a mitochondria with a good bilayered mitochondrial membrane. So, the organelles or the content within the cell which is helping that cell to perform that specific function is having a membrane bound structure. So, most living organisms, including the plants and animals, have that organism, have that structure. I hope that is clear to everyone. Let's move ahead. Now, this is the diagram of typical animal cell. And remember, students, the animal cell does not have a cell wall. Means it does not have any outer wall. It just have a membrane, that's a plasma membrane. It has endoplasmic reticulum, nucleus, Golgi apparatus, and different other structures, which we will study ahead. And this is the diagram of typical plant cell. In plant cell, there is a difference between plant cell and animal cell based on certain structures. Like in plant cell, we can see the large vacuole and a cell wall around it. But our animal cell was not having a cell wall, but the plant cell is having a cell wall and a cell membrane too. All right? It also contains vacuoles. So, yes. Now we have different parts of the cell, which are known as cell organelles. These are surrounding the cell. The very first one is the cell membrane. So cell membrane is what? It's a double layer. It's the outer membrane of the cell. What is it doing? If it's the outer periphery, supposingly, so what will this outer thing do? It is obviously going to control, what things are entering the cell, what things are going to out of the cell. So that thing, that function is of the cell membrane. Okay? So outer membrane of the cell that controls the movements in and out of the cell. Then we have the cell wall. Cell wall is a rigid structure. It supports the cell. Which cell will it support? Yes, that's only present in the plant cell, bacteria. It will support that and protect the cell. All right. So I hope till here, where we have studied till now, is clear to everyone. Is it clear? Yeah. Now, what is inside the cell? What is inside the cell? We all know what is inside the cell. There are certain structures inside the cell. Those are mitochondria, lysosomes, Golgi apparatus, endoplasmic reticulum, and so on. All right. So these are certain structures which are present outside of the cell, inside of the cell, sorry. So what we have studied till now, let's do a small recap. We have studied about the cell. What is a cell? What are the three principles based on which cell theory is there? And also we have studied about the different organelles of the cell. We have seen the diagram of the plant cell and the animal cell as well. All right. So these are all the things that we have covered till now. Now, we all know that what is inside the cell. What could be inside the cell? There could be a nucleus, there could be a nuclear membrane, there could be chromosomes, there could be nucleolus, and various other structures. So, we will be studying all the new structures of the cell afterwards in our next video. But today, our learning video was based upon the just and small introduction about the cell. And I hope you got it. What is cell? In the next video, we are going to go in more detail about who discovered the cell very firstly. What does your NCRT says? Who was the founder of the nucleus? The cell membrane, who was the founder of the cell theory. There were three scientists involved. We are going to study each and everything afterwards in the next video. So I hope you enjoyed it. Thanks for watching. Bye bye, students. Take care.